Hello, my friends, and welcome to another episode of the Million Pound Mission Podcast. It's your buddy Adam, the PhD, the previously heavy dude, and this is episode number 359. I've got 6 tips to get you out of that quarantine rut, and I know that a lot of you are feeling this, so this is an important topic to discuss. I've been doing a ton of consultation sessions, a lot of 28-day coaching. This is a real deal issue right now. A lot of people are feeling that coronavirus quarantine rut. Their nutrition has kind of slacked. Their world has changed. Their routines have changed. So this is an important one, and I'm trying to serve you guys as best I can, give you as much energy and mojo on this topic as I can. So we're going to dig in and give you 6 solid tips that you can take action on right now and reverse your momentum. And this is the way I've been describing it, like, we can do this. It's a simple decision process, but it won't be an easy one. So you're going to be willing to put in some work. And you guys know how I roll. So on this one, we're just going to dive on in. We're not going to mess around. Let's get right to these tips here. The first one is you've got to revisit your why. You've got to reevaluate why you went on this whole health journey in the first place, and think back to that thing that really fired you up, or the thing that had been firing you up before pandemics and quarantines and all this stuff happened recently. So what was really driving you? And maybe you don't necessarily use that same why, but maybe use a part of it, or you use pieces of that to form the new normal why. And really that's a mindset switch that we have to flip in this moment. Is we can't be just sitting and waiting, going, oh, I can't wait till everything is back to the way it used to be. Then I can really start going again. Then I can start trying to be healthy again. We have to flip the switch and go, okay, our current reality is this. When we can't be at our best, we can still do our best. We have to get in that stoic mindset of what can we control right now? What variables do we have control over? What is the new normal situation? Stop waiting for everything to get back to the way that you love it to be. So that being said, I probably should have said that first, so I just threw that in there. Now let's look at the why. Let's reevaluate what our why is in this current reality, new normal status. And so what's that thing that's going to fire us up? Why do we need to do this? And a lot of people honestly are feeling the stress of the coronavirus pandemic situation, because if you're in the at-risk population, aka if you have diabetes, if we're obese, have an unhealthy health position that we're operating from, that's stressful. And that can be a part of your why. Like, okay, I'm in it now. There is something I can do about it. Like if you're morbidly obese, if you've got these outlying health circumstances that are putting you at risk, let's fix them. That should be a part of your why. That should be, like, if you're fearing all that right now, like, that's not a reason to live in fear. Obviously, we have to abide by protocols and be smart, but that doesn't mean, like, let's start eating healthy now. Let's start walking or exercising at home, or doing whatever you've got to do to start shedding some pounds to get your, get on the healthy side of that health equation. That's something that we can start operating and doing right now. So that should be a big part of your why. That's something that I feel like, man, I'm glad I'm at where I am with my health right now. I've invested a lot of time and effort over the past decade to get where I am. I'm glad I'm not back in that 327-pound body, because I would be in the at-risk population. So that can be a part of your why as well. Like if you're in a good space now with your health, like, all right, that's a part of my why. I realize how important it is to be a healthy human being so that I have an advantage when pandemic things happen. So revisit the why, and remember what I like to say. You got to find your why before your why finds you. For some of you guys out there, the why found you during the pandemic. If you're in an at-risk population, your why has found you. All right, nothing we can do about that now. but it's really important to make an effort to find that fire before that fire automatically comes and finds you. All right. Now, outside of a pandemic situation, we're looking at things like heart attack, stroke, and we're saying, all right, hopefully if that why comes calling, you survive it so that you can be motivated and move forward. So think ahead and go, all right, I got to find my why before my why finds me. That's tip number one to get you out of your quarantine rut. Revisit your why. Second tip, choose the nutrition and fitness routines that will be the easiest for you to comply with for the next 4 weeks. This is a huge mistake that people make. They feel like they're in a rut. They feel like things are going south. They've gained some weight. They've lost some momentum. And their initial thought is, I've got to get hardcore. I've got to do something that is so tough and like so out there. I've got to do the liver only diet for the next 6 months. And we do it for half a day and then we stop doing it because it really sucks. And then we beat ourselves up about it. So this is about traction at this point. We are going the wrong direction. If you are truly in a rut, your momentum, your mindset, your health stats are going in a direction that we don't want them to go in. So we need to stop the bleeding and get traction in the correct direction again. And the easiest path to that is to do something that's the easiest routine for us to comply with, especially since so many of our routines have changed because of quarantine status and scheduling and kids' schools and all these changes. It's not about finding the hardest thing. It's about finding that lowest hanging fruit with the protocols that we can do with our nutrition, with our fitness. So you have to look at your life routine right now and then look at your experiences with your nutrition and fitness and go, all right, what's the best fit? What is the thing that's the easiest for me to comply with right now? And with your fitness routine, you can't hold yourself to that old standard. If you worked out 5 days a week pre-pandemic and now your life schedule is upside down, maybe once a week. Once a week is better than nuns per week, all right? So the big fat zero is not a good idea. So maybe you start off and like, I can fully commit to 15-minute walks 2 times per week. Great, better than none, better than zero. We have to be better than zero with our fitness. All right, sitting and waiting, not an option anymore, my friends. So what is that protocol that would be the easiest for you to comply with? And again, look in the past, maybe you're like, oh, I'm used to going to group fitness, but now I can't do that because my gym's not open. Okay, we got to let that go. That's not the current reality. We can't sit and feel sorry for ourselves about that. When things open back up, cool, we can plug that in, but we need to hit the ground running at that point, not sitting and waiting for that to happen. So what can we do now? Can we walk? Can we do some in-home bodyweight workouts? There's a million and one options for those sorts of things. What can we commit to in the current reality? With nutrition, again, it's not like the craziest, most hardcore nutrition protocol you've ever done. If things are really slipping, just do something very basic. Maybe it's just tracking your macros and weighing. Maybe it's a caloric number. I really like you track your macros, keep your protein over 100 grams, keep your carbs under 100 grams. And that's a very simple protocol that's working for a lot of clients that I'm working with right now. So you can feel free to borrow that. But what is that low hanging fruit to just get traction? That is tip number 2. Tip number 3, I want you to establish at least one new accountability anchor point. We can't be in that mindset of, I got myself into this mess and now it's up to me to get myself out of it. Now is not the time to be just bullheaded about this and think that you've got to do it, put it on your shoulders and I've got to be able to do this on my own. No, you don't. Establish a new accountability anchor point. A lot of you have lost accountability anchor points, and this whole concept that I talk about a lot, like you've got a great example of it. If the only accountability anchor point is your personal trainer or your gym, and now that is closed because of quarantine and pandemic situations, you lost that and you've got nothing. You've got no accountability at all. So this is where you have to look to your family, to your friends, to coaches. Hell, I'm a pretty darn good accountability anchor point. So like I was doing a hot seat session with somebody that I've known for quite a while. And the hot seat sessions that we do in the community are free. I do not like to turn them into like salesy, like pitching, coaching situations. But she was just like, I'm really struggling. I don't do the gym anymore. That's not an option. My work schedule is crazy. She's in the healthcare space. Like things are really slipping. I've got no accountability. And she's trying to like come up with these kind of like, she's really trying to come up with anchor points. Like, oh, I talked to my daughter and, I told her that I'd give her $100 if she catches me cheating. And I'm just like, this isn't a long-term solution. Let's just do coaching. I can guarantee in 28 days, if you're reporting to me every single day, if you put in effort, I will stop the bleeding. And that's where like I'm at my best. So, shameless plug, like if you guys are really sliding and you just need some damn help and you aren't sure what the hell to do and you have no accountability, this is a great time to plug in and do one of my consultation sessions or a 28-day coaching program. All that stuff's on the website, millionpoundmission.com. Check it out. But that's like, I'm a really good backstop. If you're really feeling the slide, this is when I'm at my best, ladies and gentlemen. But you have to, regardless, whether it's coaching with me or doing whatever, we've got to really solidify our accountability anchor points in this time, especially. And a lot of you are feeling that if you're just kind of hanging in the breeze, like, oh, I've got zero accountability right now. Let's get plugged in. All right, that's the third tip. Tip number 4, create a habit-based goal for the next 28 days. So this isn't it can't be vague. It can't be, I'm going to stop gaining weight. Like that's a good goal, but it's not a habit. All right. What is something that we can check a box daily that will put us into good momentum? So maybe it is reading some affirmations, reading your goals. Maybe it is walking a certain amount of steps every day, drinking a certain amount of water, tracking your food. These are things that we can check a checkbox daily and create a habit and go, okay, for 28 days, come hell or high water, I will weigh and track all my food. And I will check that checkbox off no matter what. Or I will hit 10,000 steps. Or I will spend 15 minutes meditating. Or I will be in bed by X time. Like, what is just one habit that we can anchor into and say, all right, for the next 28 days, I will do this, and I know it will nudge me in the right direction no matter what. If I have the worst day ever, I will do this no matter what. All right? That is tip number 4. Create a habit-based goal for the next 28 days. Tip number 5. I want you to use my number 1 free tool to set up a 28-day game plan. It is the Battle Plan Workbook. This is it's my masterpiece of health transformation. I'm very proud of it. If you guys have never filled out a workbook, this is the time. This thing is calling your name. Go and fill it out. Map, just having a plan for the next 28 days. This is an accountability anchor point in and of itself. If they say if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And this is a great tool to use to make sure that you aren't failing to plan. All right. And it maps everything out. It just, again, having something that's a home base sequence to lean onto and go, okay, I didn't have the greatest week. Let's review the Battle Plan Workbook. Let's get back in rhythm. It's just a nice home base. And even if you never look at the 28-day battle plan after you fill it out, just having the peace of mind and the time that you're spending to invest in mapping out a game plan as your danger zones pop up, as bumps in the road hit, you've already thought through this a lot of times in advance. And that's the huge advantage that, the Battle Plan Workbook gives you. So if you don't have access to one of the workbooks, just join our free community at the top of the page at millionpoundmission.com. I've got a ton of resources in there, and it's got the download. I update the Battle Plan Workbook whenever I make changes to it. It's all right there. Just join the Mission Possible crew at the top of the page, millionpoundmission.com. I feel like I'm mentioning the website a lot. Sorry. I don't want to get too salesy, but that's the hub where I have all this free stuff. So it is what it is. That's the 5th thing. Take some time, fill out a Battle Plan Workbook. All right, last tip, number 6. Once you've done all this stuff, you should start to feel like, okay, I've got a little bit of mojo rolling here. I got a little bit of traction going. I want you to imagine a perfect 28 days. Now, we don't expect this to happen, but just put yourself in the mindset of what is possible. I know a lot of you right now are losing hope. I hear you. I feel it. When I talk to you guys, doing hot seat, talking with my community, doing interviews with people, doing coaching sessions, I feel hope sliding. Like you're getting beaten down, justifiably so, by life, all the things that are happening in our society with the pandemic and everything that's going on socially. There's a lot of stress, and it's easy to let go and start to slide and feel that hope slip. So I feel like this is an important exercise, and imagine a really great 28 days. Just paint that picture in your mind. Maybe do some note taking, write it down, and be like, if everything goes perfectly with my family, with my health, with my fitness, with my nutrition, with my mindset, what does that look like? What would a perfect 28 days look like? And just give yourself some damn hope, because I feel like we need that right now. And that's something that we can hang on to. And of course, I always tell you guys, you can plug into me and my stuff, and whether it's paid stuff or free stuff, plug in and borrow some of my energy until you build up your own momentum. And that's what these 6 steps are all about. So a quick review. Tip number 1, got to revisit that why. Tip number 2, choose the nutrition and fitness routines that are the easiest for you to comply with right now for the next 4 weeks. Tip number 3, establish at least one new accountability anchor point. Tip number 4, create a habit-based goal for the next 28 days. Tip number 5, use the battle plan workbook to map out your next 28-day game plan. And tip number 6, imagine a perfect 4 weeks. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to take action. It's time to take ownership. Do not sit and wait for perfect to happen. Do not sit and wait for the normal routine to reoccur. We've got to act in the time and space that we now live in, the new normal, the new reality, and go, okay, what can I do about it? How can I reclaim control, reclaim ownership, and get out there and own it? Every meal, every workout, every day. I will see you on the next episode. Hey, thanks for listening to this episode. I hope you got a ton out of it. If you feel like you need a little bit of a boost, a little bit of an accountability buddy, a little bit of coaching, I've got my 28-day coaching program open and ready to help. You can go to millionpoundmission.com and apply. I take a few people each week. I like to stagger them out as we onboard new people so you get maximum attention. We're touching base every week with video chats. We've got a daily Google Doc that I call the Client Hub that we check in with on a daily basis. We really dig in with your macros, your calories, your fitness. I supply all the resources you need in all those areas, and it's supportive accountability to help you burst through that plateau, to reverse your momentum from negative to positive, and really get after those goals that you've been shooting for so long. It's time to go from goal setting to goal achieving, and the 28-day coaching program is the way to get it done. Head on over to millionpoundmission.com and submit your application today.